What card game do crocodiles like best? Snap. This video, UK Economic Development video number 3, is improvements in transport infrastructure. Okay, before we go any further then, let's define our key words. Transport, as it says up on the board, movement of people, goods and services. Infrastructure, a little bit of a complicated definition there really. The reality is that it's anything you need for a country to run, whether that be roads, buildings, electricity, pylons, schools, hospitals. It's a nice word to try and use. If you ever have the government or local council spending money, always nice to use that word infrastructure, as it shows off a higher lexicon. So then, in terms of the exam board's opinion, we need to consider 4 different modes of transport, if you will: roads, rail, ports and airports. Okay, then we're going to start with the South West Main Line. These are new intercity express trains. You can see them there on the right, with the old, probably more familiar train there on the left-hand side. Photo taken in St Austell. So it's the first new intercity express train actually specifically built for Devon and Cornwall. And the reason for that is, it's the 4th bullet point down, that these trains are more robust than other national trains on the grounds that our weather in Cornwall, because we're that exposed peninsula in the southwest, where you have the southwest prevailing winds coming in, they have to be more robust, so therefore they're stronger. So there's less delays on the tracks here, because the current train is not, and as a result it may well struggle when it gets to Cornwall and Devon. These are more robust, so actually can travel faster through Cornwall. We got some facts and figures there about them. 24% more seats, and the trains will be 15 minutes faster to London. Facilities really important. You've got your plug sockets, your Wi-Fi throughout, etc. And that's really important on the grounds that you're trying to encourage more and more people to use the train as opposed to drive, so therefore reducing carbon emissions. Linked to carbon emissions, the new trains are hybrid, therefore they also reduce emissions because they use both diesel as well as electric motors. So the concept here is that this is your specific improvements of the trains within Cornwall and Devon, and what we will need to do is make sure you can explain why that's such a bonus. So a faster, more reliable train service means it's, one, easier for commuters, but secondly it's also great for tourism in Cornwall, on the grounds that more and more people may well be attracted to visit Cornwall on the grounds that the trains are going to be more reliable and also run faster. The import and export of goods should be quicker, which may well open more business opportunities to Cornish businesses. The Cornish pasty is a classic thought here. Could that be moved by train? Yes, it can. It is often moved to Plymouth train station actually using these trains. So the concept here is that these could bring economic and social benefits to the nation as a whole, but obviously to Cornwall as well. Okay, then roads next. It's the A30 road widening. At this point, if you can pause your video and speak to parents and guardians and go, do you know where Temple is? I almost guarantee all of them will say the same thing. They will say on Bodmin Moor on the A30. It was a well overdue expansion project that was finally completed in 2017 at a village, or started at a village called Temple, which was to take the existing 2 lanes and turn them into 4 lanes of traffic in Cornwall. The absolute huge important part of this is it will avoid those 9-mile tailbacks that anyone driving that road became accustomed to in the previous 10 years. This would have occurred on bank holiday weekends, summer holidays, and also Easter and Christmas, where the idea of a huge number of people either holidaying in Cornwall or visiting family in Cornwall would essentially clog this road up. The concept being, if you don't have that 9-mile delay anymore in Cornwall, that means there's going to be more business opportunity, on the grounds that businesses will now look at Cornwall and go, it's not as far away as it used to be. Don't get me wrong, the actual distance hasn't changed, but the speed of transport will significantly improve. Furthermore, it is hoped that knowing that the road has been widened and improved will also attract more tourists, on the grounds that they won't be put off by the long delays. Think of Cornwall specifically. If people came down for a bank holiday weekend, they'd come down on the Friday night and get caught in traffic, and then they'd stay on the Saturday, they'd stay on the Sunday, and then the family would en masse wake up nice and early on the Monday to get out of Cornwall to try and beat the traffic. Now, with a double lane system here, the concept is actually that family may stay for the entire Monday as well, knowing that they can jump back in their car with no issue of congestion and then drive back to wherever they've come from. So it could actually increase the tourist season in Cornwall by a day on each bank holiday and also each weekend. There you go, the little figure there, £134 million it is hoped that this will bring to the Cornish economy. Now, transport improvements, the two that I've just done there are obviously Cornish-based. It's not just Cornwall that is seeing transport infrastructure improvements. As a matter of fact, if I'm being honest, Cornwall actually shows very little transport infrastructure improvements, where across the UK, huge improvements are being made to both road, rail, but also, as we'll see later, port and airports. The smart motorway system is an example there. You can see in the top right-hand corner. And you can also see in the bottom right-hand corner there is the Tamar Bridge, where a part of this electronic signage idea actually came from. So in a UK-wide project to increase the capacity, which means the number of cars, the speed should be obvious, and the safety of motorways. What you'll have is a manned operations tower which essentially watches motorway traffic and has the ability to instantly update a series of electronic signs above the cars on the road. So, for example, if there's an accident in the third lane or the fast lane of a motorway, the operator has the ability to hit the big red X button, which would close that lane. You can actually see it in the bottom right-hand corner there, and then put a big, you can see top left-hand corner, big exclamation mark, incident ahead to warn traffic, and then also has the ability to control the speed of traffic as well, putting it all down to 50 miles per hour. The concept here being that this should massively improve the safety, whereas before this system, drivers in the third lane would simply not have been aware that there was an incident ahead, and would have continued blindly on at 70 miles per hour. Now this electronic signage can be updated 2 miles in advance to get people out of that lane. Furthermore, if you close a lane to general traffic, it means that emergency service vehicles can use that traffic to get to a scene faster. Another little additional one, I've seen this actually on the M5 near Bristol. The operator can opt to open the hard shoulder to traffic. The hard shoulder is that almost invisible fourth lane that runs to the left of the motorway, which is used for emergency vehicles as well as for breakdowns. If you break down on the motorway, you're instructed to try to get to the hard shoulder. If the controller of the M5 in Bristol can look at that system and go, I tell you what, there's a lot of traffic here today, and traffic's moving very slowly. If they can see there are no incidents, they can open the hard shoulder to actually turn a motorway from 3 lanes to 4 lanes to therefore reduce congestion. So the concept here is that all of these smart motorway plans increase safety, increase speed, but also can potentially increase capacity as well. In terms of airports then, we're going to look at our local Cornish example again. It is Newquay Airport. The idea here is we need to look for an increase in capacity, and Newquay Airport works well for this on the grounds that it is offering a greater number of flights to a greater number of destinations, e.g. Dusseldorf and Faro there. The terminal building has been regenerated to allow this by including more seating as well as more business opportunities, e.g. cafes opening in the area. A business park is being attached to the airport now to try and encourage further trade into and out of the airport, imports and exports, if you will, into Cornwall. And we've got there, you've got to have a 3-storey office building attached to it, 9 offices and 8 further, what we term light industrial units, aka secondary manufacturing units. So the whole concept here is that we're going to improve or increase the capacity of the airport, flying to new destinations, as well as a greater number of flights coming into and out of Newquay Airport as well. The final point is the bottom left-hand corner regarding the charity group Disability. Really, really important this is an attempt to increase the usage of Newquay Airport by visually impaired and physically impaired people, on the grounds that those people would find the experience of an airport or a flight potentially very unsettling. It's a brand new environment, particularly those short of sight would find it very difficult potentially to navigate the airport. This airport has now been designed with the advice of a charity to try and increase the number of people using that airport who might have those diseases, therefore again increasing the number of passengers leaving Cornwall Newquay Airport. Final one then is the London Gateway project. It's the development in port infrastructure. It's 30 miles east of the centre of London. It's a £1.5 billion brand new port complex which handles containers from all around the world. Remember that idea of containerisation from previous lessons, where the idea is that all stock being import or export has been standardised across the world to make it a very fast and easy system to move goods. When completed, 34 cranes will operate. It will be a very rapid import-export, and the idea being that that will mean that more goods are imported to and exported away from the UK faster. The reason it's built here is due to the 10 million customers living in London and the surrounding southeast. They have the highest disposable incomes in the UK. As a result, you want to move these goods, e.g. wine for supermarkets, to this area rather than, for example, Cornwall, because these people who live there have the highest disposable income and are likely to buy it faster. Therefore, more money will be earned and those businesses selling wine will pay more tax. So the concept here is to get the supply line down as small as possible, and that's the reason the port has been built here. So the final slide. What does all of this mean? By all this, I mean all the improvements you've seen. Well, the concept is that the road, rail, airport and port improvements should see a faster import and export of goods, which is obviously great for the UK economic development on the grounds that goods can be sold faster and more tax will be paid. Secondly, it should be safer. If you consider the smart motorways, probably the best example of that, and also Newquay Airport, I suppose, the visually and physically impaired. That therefore means the system should be safer. And the final section is a more modernised transport infrastructure as seen should also, by default, achieve the previous 2 points regarding economic development and also safer, faster journeys. Hopefully that will make sense. Come and see us down in H8 if there's anything you're not too sure about.